This is not gonna be no happy-go-lucky birth story, so y'all better hold on to your horses, okay? Get ready, hold on to it, cause it's coming at you. Hey everyone, it's Rushni, and I am here to finally share with you guys my birth story. I'm doing a Bantu knot situation, hopefully, for church tomorrow. Yes, my hair is long enough to snatch it up. I'm looking bootleg, and I thought about not putting the video up, because you know, nowadays it seems like, I'm old school YouTube. I'm a OY, like an OG, you get it? I just come as I am, you know what I mean? Like Jesus say. This video is gonna be long. That's the other thing. So if you want a short little cute little video, this is not the one for you, boo-boos. You're gonna need to just click on off and go find another video on my channel. Why is this on my Glamazini channel and not on my I Am Glamazini channel? You know what? Two reasons. One, lately I've been kind of toying with abandoning the whole second channel thing and just kind of recombining everything on my channel, Glamazini channel, like it was in the past. If you have any opinions on that, tell me in the comments below what you think about whether you like it to be split or if you like all this to be beauty stuff over here, and if not. And secondarily, because y'all on this Glamazini channel are the ones that will ride and die with me through the whole pregnancy vlogs and all of that. Birth story. I'm all over the place. And oh, and I'm using my new camera. So remember, if you see me looking over there, it's because I'm still trying to get used to the fact that y'all are in there and I'm over here on the viewfinder. February 14th, 2012 was Valentine's Day, of course. It is also the day that I went for my 20-week ultrasound for my first ever pregnancy with my son, Mr. Flickerbug. And no, his real name is not Flickerbug. It's just what I've been calling him online. So yeah, my pregnancy had been absolutely normal. Pretty typical stuff going on and nothing to complain about. Not a big complainer anyway. So my sister-in-law had explained what the experience was like for me. She said it was like you go in there and they do all these measurements and they tell you everything's fine, and then you bust out and they tell you if it's a boy or a girl. So that's really all I was looking forward to. The ultrasound took a really long time. They did the vaginal stuff. I think they did the belly one. Then they did a vaginal one again. And I'm not knowing that this is not normal. My husband had to go to class. The tech told me I was done. And I told my husband, okay, well, they told us that we were gonna have a boy, which we were so excited about, so excited. And so I told my husband he could leave. Well, y'all. The doctor comes into the room and he proceeds to tell me that my son, the baby at the time, Mr. Flickerbug, was, had birth defects. He had neural tube defects, and he was going to be born with spina bifida. He said that he might be born with all manner. He named off like 3-4 different genetic potential problems. He also said that he would be born with a Chiari-2 malformation. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a link down below to my spina bifida month series that I did last year on my other channel. You can check it out. Got all the information in there. And he also told me that he probably may not live past 3 days, and that he strongly suggested that I terminate my pregnancy. Yeah, so all that went down on February 14, 2012. This is not my OBGYN. This is just some random dude that happened to be at the hospital on call that day. I remember sitting there thinking, what is this guy saying to me? This is not happening, right? So, and it just went into, yeah, I suppose I could have done that with editing, but it was just so much more fun that way. After all of that was done, including some horrible things that were said to me by that doctor about my age, I left. I do not remember leaving the building. I remember getting down to the bottom floor of that hospital, somehow calling my husband and telling him, don't go to class, something's wrong with the baby. To which I pretty much stumbled toward my car. I opened the door and threw myself in and just started weeping uncontrollably. I was in a crumpled mess in the parking lot of the hospital, 20 weeks pregnant, and just don't understand what's going on with my life. Of course, my husband was like, what, you know, he's trying to get stuff out of me. I can't remember if I told him exactly details at that point, but he was very concerned about me getting home safely. So he kind of talked me through that, and then I drove home. Y'all are like, this is not the birth story. Boo boo, this is the birth story, because you need all this background to understand what went down. Once I got home, I do remember they had given me a card. I think I still have that in my Bible, with the information that the doctor had like spoken over my kid, all this horrible stuff about how he's gonna die and have all these problems, not be able to, all kind of stuff, not be able to do nothing. He gonna do nothing. He gonna do nothing. He gonna just die. The baby gonna die. And I brought home this information to my husband. We looked it up. I remember I lost it for a second, you guys. I sat on the couch and I pretty much rocked back and forth for, I don't know, an undisclosed amount of time, saying, it's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy. And the reason was because I had envisioned that night going a whole lot differently. It was not the happy, wonderful night that I thought it was going to be, of rejoicing and celebration. It was like a boulder. The devil came in like a wrecking ball, okay? That sucker jumped on like Miley and swung on through my whole experience and just started busting stuff up. So yeah, I decided at that moment I had to choose what I was going to do. I remember thinking that I set before you life and death. Choose life. And I remember thinking that I was standing on a precipice, because y'all know that I deal with depression as well. I've shared that with you guys too. I'll put links to stuff below for everybody who don't know all that. So I remember thinking, I'm standing on the edge of a pit right now and I have a decision to make. The decision is, do I go head first into this pit or not? And I knew that if I allowed myself, if I chose to go into that pit, this was not like any other pit that I had ever experienced. I wasn't coming out of this pit, because I don't like the devil to pump me. He always trying to pump me. I just decided I was going to go ahead and just do my regular nighttime chores, because I didn't know what else to do. So I got up and I just went, I did the dishes, I packed the dishwasher, I just did just like a robot. And it wasn't pretty at the beginning. So anyway, that's the long version of why this video gonna be ridiculous. That's the long version of why the 14th is a day that I mark, because I feel like it's the day that marked the fact that I made it. It's a day of survival, because February 14, 2012, I told my husband, February 14, 2013 is going to come whether we want it to or not. What we about to do? And that's why last year on February 14, 2013, I was so overwhelmed with the fact that I actually made it to that date. And now 2014 is here, you guys, and I have an almost 2-year-old. What in the world? First of all, obviously they were wrong about the sucker dying. He ain't dying. He in there sleeping. He in there calling hogs, sucking up all my air. Fast forward to the birth story. So, there's another part. So at 34 weeks now, because of all of that stuff that had went down with the doctor telling me that everybody was going to die, I had to be hooked up to machines frequently. I had to have a fetal MRI. They offered me to terminate my pregnancy for the next 3 weeks, all the way up until week 23 of my pregnancy, because they said they had to, because a lot of people change their mind when they go and they research some of this stuff. I had a total of 16 ultrasounds during my pregnancy, and I don't even know how many non-stress tests I had. I had a bunch. So I go into the office now for one of them regular old ones, and they decide they see some problem with the baby's heart. So they admit me to labor and delivery at that hospital. Now, mind you, that's the hospital that I wanted to have my baby at, all natural, you know, whatever, but that's not how I got to do it, so that kind of sucked. But they had decided, my doctor was like, you need to give birth at this other hospital across town, because my son was going to have to go immediately from me to the NICU, and since that hospital was by the NICU, they wanted me to be near. Okay, well, we want you to go down there just in case they have to do an emergency C-section. Now, mind you, this is week 34, and I had already prayed and said, God, I need 37 weeks minimum, okay? These people clowning. They telling me all manner of foolishness about to go down with this baby. They telling me the baby gonna die. They ask me if I want to kill the baby, all kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not for me to decide. Okay, we're gonna need you to leave this hospital, Hospital A, and go drive yourself to the other hospital. I almost went home. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with my baby. So anyway, long story short, I go to the other hospital. I get admitted to labor and delivery, which is not even the part of the hospital I'm supposed to be in, because they have a second part of the hospital called the antepartum for all the special cases like me who aren't going to have their babies in the room. I guess they don't want you to like lose your mind hearing all the regular people in labor and delivery with their babies. Put me up in there and then start trying to get me to sign papers for an potential emergency C-section. No. And I had not eaten anything. Okay. And of course now I'm thinking I'm gonna go eat after my doctor's appointment. Of course, when I get there, they're like, you can't eat because we might have to do a C-section. So I am starving. Do you hear me? I'm hungry. Okay, it's late in my pregnancy and I am mad at everybody. I'm just trying to gnaw off people's arms. So these suckers keep sending different people to come into the room to try to tell me that I need to sign the paperwork. I'm like, no. That did not go down because I told God 37 weeks minimum. They told me that they kept sending doctors and stuff, and I was like, that ain't going down. Nothing was wrong with my son at that point. Nothing was wrong with his heart. Nothing is wrong with his heart at this point either. I threatened the one guy, you better bring me a ham sandwich. They ended up letting me eat a ham sandwich and they let me leave. They discharged me. I had a doctor's appointment on the morning of my 38-week, 1-day mark. Now, at that point, I had started having Braxton Hicks like a while before, but probably like a few days before that, I decided these things were seeming like they were coming really regular to me, getting closer. So I grabbed my phone and I downloaded an app. I don't even know what app it was to keep track of how close my stuff was coming. So I had packed my bag and everything. And I woke up that morning and it was like 6 something and I was thinking, ooh, these contractions feel like they're coming on a regular basis. So I started checking and they were, I don't remember how close they were at all, but I do remember telling my husband, I got to go to a doctor's appointment anyway to the OBGYN. Why don't you just come with me? Well, it's a good thing I said that because we never came back home. We go to the doctor's appointment. My doctor checks me. He's like, you ma'am are in labor. You about to have a baby. Now, here's the thing. No, my doctor didn't check me. The nurse practitioner checked me. Here's the thing. My doctor was out of town, right? Now, I've been going to this dude for like 20 years. I love him. He is my favorite doctor, point blank, like my favorite medical professional. And I told him, how you gonna go out of town at the end of my pregnancy? Now, I had a C-section scheduled at 39 weeks. And he was like, oh, don't worry, your C-section is scheduled at 39 weeks. I ain't gonna make it to 39 weeks, boo-boo. I asked God for 37 weeks minimum. I'm about to blow. He came back in town on Wednesday, right? But he was still on vacation. He was just in the city. He was out of the city before that. And on Thursday morning, pow, like that. So, of course, they send me over. They send me from the one hospital back to the other spot. And I'm going to keep driving down there. I'm driving. I call my mother. I'm like, hey, mommy, how you feel about having a grandchild today? She's like, no. What? You didn't know. Anyway, come to find out, the reason she was talking about no is because she had told me she was coming in town at like 40 weeks. She was coming down like a week after I had the baby. That's the flight I knew about. But my husband and her were in cahoots so she could be there for the 39-week ultrasound. Well, Flickerbug had something for her because he came early. So she was going to miss the whole thing. And that's why she was all like, no, but I didn't know that at the time. I was like, what you so upset about? I thought you'd be happy. Meanwhile, my husband is like, I got to stop and buy socks. So we driving down 40. I don't know if y'all know St. Louis is. We driving down 40. This dude, I almost called it something else. Jesus help. This man stops at Nordstrom Rack. I am in labor. Like Kevin on stage said, we grabbing air. I am in labor. I got the app. Contractions coming, you know. And this fool in Nordstrom Rack getting some socks. Go down to the hospital now. Take my butt up there. And they're like, yeah, you're in labor. So they put me in the triage situation. And I'm in the triage and bloosh. Water all over. Blah. Just water everywhere. Oh. I was like, ooh, stuff just came out. Now, honestly, you guys, I kind of forgot about the whole, like, your water's supposed to break thing. I didn't even think about that until I got there. And I was like, oh, my water broke. Ugh. Then they were like, oh, no, there's meconium in the water. So that meconium is the first poo that the baby does when they usually come out. And sometimes because of the stress of labor, they will poo during labor inside, which is not good, obviously, because they can inhale it and they can get like lung infections and all that kind of stuff. So that's not good at all. But the good news was I had a C-section schedule, obviously. So, you know, they were already moving it all. So my doctor got there. He came in the room. He chastised me for making sure that he wasn't going to get his vacation finished. And I was like, you better scrub up. Let's do this. Okay. So the plan that we had was you can only have one extra person in the operating room with you. So we decided, of course, for my husband to be in the operating room. So he did all the thing and put on the bunny suit with the shower cap looking hair cover and the whole blue thing or whatever. And he came inside. They did my, I had to have a spinal, which is a stronger version of the epidural. I'm gonna be like, this is like a novella. The longest video on the planet. The funny part about that is when they took my son out, that my son had to immediately go to the NICU. So there was no cuddling. There was no showing me the baby outside of the thing. They put him immediately into an isolette and they wheeled him by me. And I kind of like saw this big Chicano looking thing go on by me. To which my husband was then about to go to the NICU with him. You know, they have you with your arms spread out like Jesus. So I'm thinking I'm just going to space out here with all this anesthesia and maybe just fall asleep or something while they do all the stitching. Because the C-section, the getting the baby out is really fast. And shook, and especially the first baby, there's no scar tissue. They just shing, pow, and muscles and just grab stuff out. It's the closing up that takes a long time. So here I am in a daze and I look out of the corner of my eye and here come my friend Lolita. And I'm like, what? Now, first of all, she was not authorized. We didn't authorize this heifer to come up in the operating room. I'm like, how you get in the operating room? She's in, I mean, now she's in scrubs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she's not like, she didn't just walk up in there in her street clothes or nothing. She was fully like scrubbed down with all the suit and everything. So she's in there and I'm like, what the heck? How you get in here? You know what this heifer said to me? She said, I am very persuasive. It really was nice because she is probably one of my closest friends on the planet. So it was awesome that she kind of like, you know, devoted her way up in the OR. And that's pretty much it. I threw up a bunch. I threw up in a little thing she was holding. She stood up and watched the doctor close me up and was telling me a play-by-play that I didn't want to hear about. I remember waking up and being rolled up in like a thing like an Eskimo and shaking uncontrollably and seeing like random family members in the room. And once again, Lolita telling my, I think she was telling my mother-in-law to zip it because she was over there chitter-chattering. And she was like, you know, when I was pregnant, I didn't really want anybody in my room going on like that.
Yeah, it is now.
That evening, once I had actually like gotten all the anesthesia out my system and I think I'd eaten, I don't remember. Okay, I'm back. Bear with me. I had to switch cameras. I think the battery was dying. I saw something flashing on the screen and I was like, what the heck does that mean? And all of a sudden it was like, yeah, the recording has stopped. It wasn't ready for this power recording. So that evening, really late, I think, my husband threw me in the wheelchair and we went on over to the hospital to the NICU to see my son. He had not had surgery. He had been checked out and everything, and he was ready to have surgery bright and early the next morning to do his closure for spina bifida. And like I said, if you don't know anything about that, I'm not going to go into all of that. I did a whole series about it, so the videos are down below. Check that out to understand what I'm saying. Yeah, so that was the first time I saw my son. That's where I reside. Is my birth story. If you don't know, after that, my son was in the NICU for 5 weeks. And don't get me wrong, just because I can sit here and kind of say it with a lot of levity does not mean that it was not the most difficult time of my life. Which, like I said, is why February 14th is such a huge and pivotal day for me. If you watch this all the way to the end, type the word toboggan. Don't tell people why, just type the word toboggan. So I want to see. Anyway, all right, so that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to tell me what you think about me like remerging my channels because yeah. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, you guys. I put up videos like once a week and sometimes I put up videos more often than that. I will see you in the next video. Bye.